Hello and welcome to another edition of Beaver Lake Spring Thaw Status, the weekend of March 30th to April 2nd. Snazzy caption. This is March the 30th, looking at South Beaver Lake, and you can see that the water there has opened up quite a bit with a little bit of a finger on the south side of South Beaver Lake. Sort of a gray day today. And you can see it's opened up quite a bit on the North Lake as well. Here we'll take another little look. Strange sort of I'd call them worm patterns on the ice right at the bottom of the screen there, as the thin parts of the ice break up a bit. Those holes, I think, are old ice fishing holes. Some of them are, anyway. And if you look on the left side of the screen, the edge of the ice, it's pretty straight, which is interesting. Not so much today, but when we see tomorrow's view, you'll see that it's changed quite a bit, and you can see lots of ducks and geese are arriving for the summer. Landing on the lake, another squadron coming in. And here they are. Can't quite make out what they are. Nice to see them coming in, and the air is full of the honking sounds of Canada geese and other ducks. So here we are the next day, April the 1st. Down towards the Highway 41 end of the lake, still frozen pretty solid. In fact, there was somebody out on the ice at one point I saw. And here we can see over the course of the day the open part has increased quite a bit. That finger has widened, and that strange little peninsula has developed. It's barely attached, and it's interesting to watch it over the course of the day. So this is early afternoon on April the 1st. Actually late afternoon, excuse me. And you can see the serrations there have developed. There's that peninsula. Approaching Neville Point ahead of us. Now we'll go for a little cruise down the length of Neville Point on the North Beaver Lake side. You can see how it's, at this end at least, it's pretty much free of ice right up against the shore, and then it develops and has remained all the way along from here on down. Quite chilly at this point on Saturday. And then here's the early evening view. Again, you can see things have thinned out quite a bit around the edge on the South Lake, and on the North Lake you can see that peninsula is broken off and has moved, and the scalloping on the edge there between the water and the ice has developed quite a bit. As we go up a little higher, you can see where the Salmon River comes into North Beaver Lake. There's a swamp on the left-hand side, and it's clearly quite full of water, very high levels of water at this point in the year. And where the Salmon River empties out of the lake, you can see it's open there and trying its best to join up with the rest of the lake. The ice there at the end is quite thin. There you can see that peninsula seems to have broken off, moved around a little bit because of the wind. There we can see all the way down to the far end of the lake. You can see White Lake just beyond it. Take a closer look down down lower, and you can see along the edge of this weird scalloping. If you look closely, you can see it almost looks like little ice cubes forming along the edge. And there's those two pieces of the former peninsula floating around there. Take a closer look in a sec. With lots of debris tucked in along the edge. Here we are on the next day, April the 2nd, Sunday. This is on the South Lake, zooming in on one of those weird worm-like shapes. Looks like the surface of the moon, and all sorts of cracks all over the place. And then we'll swing over to the other side on the North Beaver Lake, and you can see those two little islands have completely vanished. The pieces that used to be in the peninsula. Here we are down close again. Lots of little ice cubes, little fragments of ice breaking off. There's one interesting spot, and we're going to look at that in 1 second here, where the ice is really smashed up, presumably from the wave action there, right there. I'm about maybe 20 feet up. So those are still pretty large chunks of ice. So later in the afternoon, I went for a drive down to the boat launch at the end of the Bradshaw Road near the islands. And there you can see Indian Island, the single island there in the middle. Pretty solid down at this end. That's Neville Point there with North Beaver Lake beyond it. Large cracks running across the lake. There's one of the coves on the south side of South Beaver Lake. And then we'll take a little flight over the two islands. And then here's the North Beaver Lake towards the Highway 41 end. You can see it's still pretty solid. There is one little open spot. I think there's a creek that comes in there near the farm. And boat launch, the North Beaver Lake boat launch is coming up just on the left-hand side of the screen past that that red roofed place. A little bit of open water there as well along the edge. Guess it gets warmed up by the sun. And we can get an interesting view of Erinsville just off in the distance with the church. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below.